5 seconds into this story, a man walks into a London office carrying nothing but a briefcase and a secret that could change the course of the Second World War. He isn't a soldier, and he isn't a spy in the traditional sense. To the world, he's just a clerk. To the Allies, he's everything. His name is Juan Pujol Garcia. By the end of this hour, the fate of Normandy, the lives of thousands of American soldiers, and the entire strategy of D-Day rest on the shoulders of men like him. It's 1940. Europe is burning under Nazi boots. France has fallen, and Britain stands alone, battered but unbroken. Across the Channel, Hitler's Wehrmacht consolidates its control. Yet, in the quiet of London, British intelligence has a problem. They need eyes inside Germany, but every agent sent risks death or worse. That's when Pujol enters the picture. A Spaniard with no formal training, no army experience, he claims he can deliver information straight from Berlin. At first, they don't believe him. He's audacious, almost comically so. But Pujol is relentless. He studies German military organization, reads newspapers obsessively, and begins crafting a web of lies so intricate that the Abwehr, the German intelligence service, welcomes him with open arms. Across the Atlantic, American soldiers preparing for the eventual liberation of Europe have no idea their lives will be shaped not just by tanks and artillery, but by letters typed on a small typewriter in a dim London apartment. Pujol, known to the Germans as Arabelle, feeds Hitler false intelligence about troop movements, phantom divisions, and non-existent supply depots. Every piece of misinformation is a gamble, but it works. The Germans reorganize in response to ghost armies, and American and British forces gain precious time to train, plan, and stockpile for D-Day. Meanwhile, not far from Pujol, in neutral Spain, another story unfolds. A woman named Noor Inayat Khan, a British SOE operative of Indian descent, volunteers to parachute into occupied France. Her mission, to serve as a wireless operator, keeping lines of communication open between the French resistance and London. She is young, soft-spoken, yet fearless. Every day she transmits coded messages under the constant threat of detection. Every static-filled broadcast could mean discovery, torture, or death. And yet, she persists. Her courage mirrors that of countless American soldiers preparing for the beaches of Normandy, their letters home full of hope, fear, and an unshakable commitment to freedom. But back in London, Pujol's work intensifies. By 1943, the Allies are preparing Operation Overlord. The stakes couldn't be higher. Pujol, now fully trusted by the Germans, delivers intelligence suggesting that the main invasion will strike at Calais, 100 miles from Normandy. It's a masterstroke of deception. Hitler believes it. His generals believe it. Even the American planners consider the possibility but cannot risk alerting their German counterparts. On the eve of D-Day, as American paratroopers huddle in their C-47s and the first waves of soldiers prepare to storm Omaha and Utah beaches, the Germans are still positioned incorrectly. Pujol's phantom divisions tie down thousands of enemy troops who never fire a shot at the real invasion force. Across France, Noor and her fellow agents continue their quiet work. She records the positions of German patrols, the construction of fortifications, and movements of troops, sending it back to London in Morse code. Each click of the transmitter is a heartbeat in the larger Allied plan. Each American soldier reading a letter from home, scribbled with words of hope, is part of the same human story. The war is not only fought with weapons but with courage, wit, and deception. Meanwhile, in the United States, intelligence officers in Washington pore over reports from London, New York, and Cairo. They are aware of certain double agents, but the full scope of the deception is still hidden. One American officer, Lieutenant Colonel John Henry Patterson, keeps meticulous notes on what the British call the double-cross system. Patterson marvels at how these agents, ordinary men and women in extraordinary circumstances, are rewriting the rules of war. Every report, every rumor, every small lie becomes a weapon as potent as any artillery shell. It's worth pausing for a moment. Imagine being one of those American soldiers on Omaha Beach, sand under your boots, gun in hand, bullets whizzing overhead. You don't know that a man in London has been feeding false information to the Germans, that a young woman in Paris is risking her life just to type a few lines of code. And yet, without them, D-Day might have been a disaster, a bloody nightmare of epic proportions. Instead, their bravery saves lives, reduces casualties, and ensures that the invasion succeeds. And then there's the story of Duško Popov, a Serbian double agent. Popov, code-named Tricycle by the British, lives a life of decadence, charm, and danger. He travels between Lisbon, London, and Berlin, flirting with Nazi officers and feeding them carefully crafted misinformation. To the Germans, he appears as the ultimate recruit. To the Allies, he is a treasure trove of insight. He warns about U-boat positions in the Atlantic, sabotages plans for attacks on shipping, and ensures American convoys cross safely. Without agents like Popov, the Battle of the Atlantic could have dragged on even longer, costing more American lives and delaying the build-up for Normandy. Let's not forget Juan Pugel's personal struggle. He maintains an elaborate network of imaginary sub-agents, all of whom exist only in his notes and imagination. Each letter he sends must feel authentic, each story plausible. If the Germans discover a single inconsistency, it's over. He even stages trips across London, creating evidence of meetings with non-existent operatives, buying train tickets and leaving traces. It's absurdly dangerous. And yet, he does it for a higher purpose, to protect the men and women fighting on the front lines, to give the Allies a chance at victory. His reward is not medals or fame. It's the quiet satisfaction of knowing thousands of lives are saved. Meanwhile, Nor faces her own perils. She is eventually betrayed by a French collaborator and arrested by the Gestapo. Despite brutal interrogation, she refuses to break. Her courage is not just heroic, it is emblematic of a hidden army of individuals whose names may never be known, but whose contributions shape the course of history. Each American soldier who reads her coded transmissions or benefits indirectly from her intelligence owes a debt that cannot be measured in medals alone. As 1944 progresses, the web of double agents grows. Agents like Garbo, the alias used by Pugel, and Tricycle manipulate the enemy with elegance and precision. They intercept German intentions, twist them, and feed them back into the intelligence pipeline. American generals, including Omar Bradley and Dwight Eisenhower, rely on these assessments when planning the push inland from the beaches of Normandy. They may never meet these agents, yet their lives, and the lives of every soldier under their command, depend on them. And here's a moment to consider the personal side. A young infantryman, Private First Class Robert Thompson, writes home from Normandy, "We landed in chaos, but somehow we were ready. I don't know why. Maybe it's the training, maybe it's luck, maybe it's something else entirely. All I know is we survived, and I can't wait to hug you when this is over." That something else Thompson feels is the culmination of years of deception, courage, and unseen bravery by double agents working in shadows. The Germans, meanwhile, are confused and frustrated. Their reports tell them one thing, reality on the ground is another. Hitler lashes out at generals he distrusts, redeploys divisions to ghost threats, and unwittingly spreads his forces thin. The Allies seize every advantage. American soldiers storm beaches with relative support, resistance movements disrupt supply lines, and intelligence intercepts reduce uncertainty at every turn. It's not just a battle of men and guns, it's a battle of wits, patience, and courage on multiple fronts. By late June 1944, the tide has turned, but the war is far from over. Double agents continue their work, feeding misinformation about follow-up invasions, phantom armies in Norway, and supposed troop movements in the Balkans. Each false report draws German resources away from critical fronts, indirectly protecting the American advance. Soldiers like Thompson push inland, facing determined opposition but with vital intelligence in their favor. They owe their survival, in part, to people they've never met, letters they've never read, and lies that have saved lives. As we close this chapter, remember the human cost behind the strategy. Noor Inayat Khan will ultimately be executed by the Gestapo, a hero remembered long after the war. Juan Pugel survives, honored quietly by those who understand the stakes. Dusko Popov walks a fine line, living the thrill of espionage while dodging the bullet of betrayal. Every American soldier landing on the beaches, every man storming hedgerows or securing a bridge, benefits from these unsung heroes. And yet, the war rages on. The Germans are desperate, Hitler is paranoid, and the Allies must prepare for their next move. And now, as Pugel types his latest message to Berlin, a new agent arrives in London, handpicked by the SOE, carrying information that could unravel everything. One letter, one decision, one interception could change the outcome of the entire campaign. The Germans are about to make a mistake that will either seal their fate or crush the hopes of every Allied soldier fighting in Europe. The stage is set, the piece is in motion, and the world holds its breath. Because in the shadows of the Second World War, even the smallest act of deception can tip the balance between life and death, and the next move could alter history forever. The Germans, meanwhile, are confused and frustrated. Their reports tell them one thing, reality on the ground is another. Hitler lashes out at generals he distrusts, redeploys divisions to ghost threats, and spreads his forces thin. Every misstep amplifies the advantage the Allies already hold. American soldiers push inland from the beaches, moving through hedgerows and towns, encountering resistance but also pockets of opportunity that double agents have helped create. The deception campaign is working, and every misdirected division, every phantom army, saves lives on the front lines. In London, Juan Pujol continues to type, sending coded letters to Berlin that describe vast armies ready to strike locations that don't exist. He invents elaborate backstories for fake officers, fabricates battle reports, and even goes so far as to create correspondence between these imaginary subagents. The Germans, desperate for intelligence, hang on every word. Pujol's life is a delicate balancing act. One mistake, one inconsistency, could undo everything. But he thrives under pressure, driven by the knowledge that each successful lie is a shield for soldiers storming beaches, fighting in towns, and moving through forests. Meanwhile, Noor Inayat Khan's story reaches a tragic peak. Despite her capture, she refuses to betray her colleagues or the resistance. She endures interrogation and imprisonment with a quiet dignity that inspires others in the network. Her transmissions continue to influence operations indirectly, guiding American and British forces. Soldiers on the front have no idea her courage under captivity is helping them every step of the way. Her story is a stark reminder that the war isn't fought solely with guns, it's fought with bravery, intelligence, and sacrifice behind the lines. Dusko Popov, Tricycle, continues his high-stakes game of espionage, traveling across Europe with charm and audacity. He flirts with danger, intercepts critical intelligence, and feeds the Allies information that directly impacts naval convoys. American naval officers owe him a debt that can't be written in medals. Every U-boat avoided, every convoy delivered safely, ensures that troops and supplies reach Normandy when they are most needed. Popov's life is a whirlwind of risk, glamour, and courage, but the consequences of failure are absolute, and the margin for error is razor-thin. As the Allies consolidate their gains in Normandy, the network of double agents expands. Reports from Garbo and Tricycle, combined with intelligence from resistance operatives, allow American commanders to make bold moves. Every bridge captured, every crossroad secured, and every German miscalculation contributes to momentum. Soldiers like Private Thompson continue to write home, recounting days of tension, unexpected victories, and moments where the invisible hands of espionage shape the battlefield. The personal and the strategic are intertwined, each affecting the other in profound ways. Behind the scenes, American intelligence in Washington monitors the intricate web of deception. Officers analyze reports from London and Lisbon, cross-referencing every tip, rumor, and intercepted message. They understand the stakes. Each decision can mean the difference between victory and catastrophic loss. Lieutenant Colonel Patterson and his colleagues marvel at how ordinary civilians and trained operatives alike manipulate the enemy with precision. The war is no longer just a matter of armies, it is an intricate chessboard where one wrong move could cost thousands of lives. Meanwhile, the Germans scramble to adjust. Orders come from Berlin to redeploy divisions, reinforce positions that aren't under threat, and counter phantom invasions. Pujol watches with satisfaction as his fictional armies force the enemy to scatter resources and miscalculate. The deception saves lives in real time. American soldiers advance, tanks roll through contested fields, and paratroopers secure strategic points with fewer casualties than might have been expected. It's a quiet victory for the unsung heroes, a testament to the power of intelligence, wit, and courage. In Paris, the resistance continues its tireless work. Though Noor is no longer transmitting, her earlier efforts guide sabotage operations, protect supply lines, and maintain communication with Allied forces. Each American soldier benefiting from this intelligence is unknowingly part of her legacy. The interplay between double agents, resistance operatives, and frontline troops demonstrates the complexity of modern warfare, where success depends as much on strategy and deception as it does on firepower. As summer 1944 unfolds, Pujol receives new instructions from London. The next phase of deception requires even greater audacity, a false report suggesting a major counterattack that doesn't exist. The Germans, already exhausted and paranoid, eagerly accept the intelligence. Pugel carefully crafts the narrative, inventing subagents, creating reports, and weaving a story convincing enough to alter enemy deployments. Every paragraph he types influences the movement of thousands of soldiers, the positioning of artillery, and the decisions of generals. Popov, meanwhile, intercepts German plans that reveal a secret operation aimed at disrupting Allied supply lines in southern France. He transmits the information to London, ensuring American and British forces can counteract the threat before it materializes. Each successful interception keeps men alive and equipment secure. His daring missions highlight a truth often overlooked: the war is won not just with courage on the battlefield but with intelligence, cunning, and audacity behind enemy lines. American forces continue to press the advantage. Supply lines remain intact, reinforcements arrive on schedule, and resistance groups provide crucial assistance. The success of these operations, from Omaha Beach to the heart of Normandy, owes as much to double agents and clandestine operatives as to the valor of infantrymen. Soldiers fight bravely, but the unseen influence of people like Garbo, Tricycle, and Knorr amplifies their effectiveness, shaping the war in ways the enemy cannot anticipate. Yet, tension remains. Each false report, each intercepted plan, each act of bravery carries the weight of potential disaster. A single exposed agent could unravel months of planning, jeopardize thousands of lives, and alter the outcome of the campaign. The stakes are unthinkably high, and the war continues to pivot on the decisions of men and women whose names history might almost forget. As Allied forces push further into France, double agents prepare the next phase. New operatives arrive from London, trained and ready to infiltrate occupied territory. They carry information and instructions that could mislead the Germans for weeks to come. Each deployment is a calculated risk, an intricate dance of deception and courage. American soldiers, meanwhile, continue to advance, fighting in towns, securing bridges, and taking positions that the enemy thought safe. And then, a shocking twist: intelligence reports indicate that a mole within the British network may have been compromised. A single leak, one agent turned, could expose the carefully crafted web of deception and unravel the Allied advantage. Pugel, Popov, and London Command scramble to verify the integrity of every line, every report, every message. The tension is unbearable. Lives, strategy, and the fate of the invasion hang in the balance. At the front, soldiers remain unaware of the invisible war that surrounds them. They fight bravely, relying on training, instinct, and camaraderie. Yet behind every strategic success, behind every saved convoy, behind every secured town, the unseen work of double agents makes victory possible. Their sacrifice, intelligence, and courage are as critical as any artillery barrage or tank offensive. And now, the moment that will define the next chapter: a courier arrives in London carrying a single, unmarked envelope. Inside, intelligence suggests a new German plan that could directly threaten American and British forces in Normandy. The content of this envelope will determine the success or failure of upcoming operations. Pugel, Popov, and the rest of the network prepare to act, knowing that one misstep could change everything. The Allies are poised, but the Germans are about to make a decision that could either save or destroy hundreds of lives. The world holds its breath as the double agents prepare for the next move, fully aware that history itself hangs on their courage and that the next message could change everything.